Daily Mail's been on one when it comes to putting out some absolutely ridiculous studies, and this one right here, it might end up taking the cake. Debunking the myth of the male hunter. Oh my god. So, okay, it's not so much that modern women can do everything better than men, it's now prehistoric women can do everything better than men. Okay, prehistoric women were better at hunting than men, a study claims. What cancer are you bringing before my eyes? If you envisage a prehistoric hunter, a vision of a caveman might spring to mind. Yeah, prehistoric, feudal, medieval, colonial, pretty much anytime that you say hunter, I'm gonna think big burly guys, not chicks with makeup and a fucking side shave. That doesn't really come to mind. Well, women have long been seen as child rearers and gatherers, and men as hunters. Researchers at the University of Notre Dame have debunked this theory. Unbelievable. You have nothing better to do, huh? Study found that not only did prehistoric women engage in practice of hunting, but their female anatomy and biology would have made them intrinsically better suited for it. Fucking hilarious. Okay, if you're gonna go spear a prehistoric animal, a saber-toothed tiger or whatever, the old hack example, how the fuck are these tiny bitches gonna drag that back to camp? How the fuck is that even gonna work, huh? Or did they just have the bitch throw the spear and then they just had those inferior hunters just gather it up, you know, field dress it and then just take it back to camp? Is that what they did? Rather than viewing it as a way of erasing or rewriting history. That's exactly what you're doing. Our studies are trying to correct the history. Oh yes, it needs to be corrected. That erased women from history. We're not rewriting it. We're just rewriting it, said Dr. Kara. Oh, I'm not fucking surprised. Akabok. Okay, whatever. Got a terrible last name. Somebody should hunt you for a better one. Lead author of the study claims findings show that the female body is better suited for endurance activity. Now, why hasn't that ever borne out in any world record outside of like one obscure swimming technique? I think that there's, you know, a case to be made for that one, but endurance activity. Huh, fucking hilarious. Where's your claims going to be backed up on this one? What kind of a doctor was she, or what kind of a scientist was she? I'm sure we'll get into that. Fucking DeVry doctor here. The main reason for the biological advantage are hormones, in this case estrogen and adiponectin, okay, which are typically present in higher quantities in female bodies than in male. These two hormones play a critical role in enabling the female body to modulate glucose and fat, a function that is key in athletic performance. Endurance, long distance. But you're telling me because women could better process body fat, they were going to be better? Okay, that's a stretch. Estrogen is in particular helps by encouraging the body to use its stored fat for energy before using up its carbohydrate stores and protecting the body's cells from damage during heat exposure. Yeah, I'll let you just, you know, natter on here for a second. Professor Ockelbach, that's just fun to say. Since fat contains more calories than carbs do, it's a longer, slower burn, which means that the same sustained energy can keep you going longer and can delay fatigue. Fantastic. Estrogen is really the unsung hero of life in my mind. Well, that's good. It's the unsung hero in your mind. As a doctor, as a clinical researcher, do you have anything to back that up? No? Okay. It is important for cardiovascular and metabolic health, brain development, and injury recovery. Fantastic stuff. A researcher also discovered the structure of the female body would have been an advantage in hunting. Okay, now if you're going to be moving on without citing any sources when it comes to hormones, so okay, women can better process body fat. You know, something that wasn't necessarily at the same type of levels as we see in the modern day, which very much on display with these, you know, fucking heffalumps, sans Marcus Brownlee. But okay, your weird claims that women of the time had more estrogen than the men at the time, which I'll go ahead and accept that premise there. But you're also leaving out something that would be very, very important if we're going to be discussing hormonal changes in hunters that are out there. How about testosterone for explosive action, for muscle density? How about for strength, for, I don't know, actually doing the hunting part of this study? Women are better hunters because they can run faster. What the fuck are you talking about? If you're being chased by a wild animal, a pack of coyotes or something like that, I don't even know if that lines up timeline-wise, but how the fuck are you gonna fight off an animal? Oh, don't worry, guys, I'll be able to handle this. I can metabolize fat better. Better, not exclusively. Not even how the body would normally process energy in general. As a certified exercise physiologist, I kind of know a ting or two about a ting or two when it comes to this. And then also just extrapolating with common knowledge, which of the two sexes handles stress better? The ones that can better metabolize fat, or the ones that have historically been able to be the problem solvers and get shit done? You know, the ones that are responsible for my message to be transmitted through this microphone into my personal computer onto your device. I'm just wondering, man, who's the better problem solver? But okay, cool, your estrogen theory. The researchers also discovered that the structures of the female body would have been an advantage in hunting. The narrower shoulders, the wider hips, what the fuck are you talking about? They are slower. No offense. Okay, we're just going to state some biological facts. They're slower than men. They can't lift as much as men. Their sprint capacity is slower, and they can't run nearly as fast. Like, what are we doing here? The typical wider hip structure of the female, they're able to rotate their hips and lengthen their steps. Yeah, typically could. Did they? Could they? No. The longer steps you take, the cheaper they are metabolically, and the farther you can get faster. Yeah, that's not how muscle contractions work, but then again, I'm not a doctor. What the fuck, man? But there, oh yeah, there you can see, yeah, a one-to-one example, right? Obviously, you know, you got a woman who's running, sort of, landing flat-footed, which you never do if you're running. You land on the ball of your foot if you're going to be doing anything like that, compared to a guy who's going to be lifting weights. Interesting comparison that you have there. When you look at the human physiology this way, you can think of women as marathon runners versus men as power lifters. Yeah, when you frame it like that, you can in fact frame it like that. The study went on to examine fossils of archaeological evidence of women as hunters. You should probably, you know, re-examine that and say woman as hunter. These findings indicate prehistoric women not only shared in the resulting injuries of the dangerous business of close contact hunting. Oh, now we're just going to go ahead and, you know, rephrase this or recategorize this appropriately by saying close combat hunting, which of course you would want somebody who, what, the average height, I'm not even entirely sure the height of the average individual, the build of your average prehistoric woman, but I would just imagine, because, you know, for as much as we've evolved over these hundreds of thousands of years, we still have a lot of similarities. The man is going to be larger and therefore more capable in these close contact situations, which you're pointing out right here. But don't worry, they can process fat better. Stupid. But that it was an activity held in high esteem and valued by them. Sure, okay, cool. According to fossil records, both males and females have the same resulting injuries and equal rates of wear and tear. Yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do with hunting or if they just end up getting, you know, randomly attacked by wild animals. Evidence also found the early female hunters of the Holocene period in Peru, where females were buried with hunting weapons. I'm just, like, I'm not entirely sure about the rituals or customs, but if you were also, you know, a part of a tribe, I would think that those hunting materials would probably be fairly beneficial to the furtherance of the tribe. So I don't necessarily think that they would bury them with anybody. It was more or less a ceremonial thing to help you to continue your battle into the afterlife, because we aren't quite as sophisticated. And trust me, they weren't sitting around the campfire having these types of conversations going, well, actually, a grunty over there, she would be the superior hunter because of her horrible profile. Oh my god, I heard something behind me. Please, somebody get the med in order to deal with this. This bitch. Professor Akabok said that you don't often get buried with something unless it is important to you or with something that's used frequently in your life. What are you grabbing from? This is so fucking dumb, dude. Like, holy shit. You're using one of the effects that estrogen has on the body, and you're discounting all of the inherent biological superiorities that men have just because prehistoric fossils had injuries. Yeah, strange way to try to rewrite history. It's just, here's the thing, man. They were a little bit more concerned, by the way, with being pregnant, continuing on the species so we could arrive at the point in time where you can theorize this absolute asinine retelling of history and also produce the offspring that did the requisite amount of research to contradict your quite honestly baffling conclusion. Because nowhere outside of this one weird-ass study have we ever seen any sort of evidence, which we still don't really have any evidence, that it was women who were they were the real problem solvers back in the day when everybody lived in caves, right? But whatever you need to tell yourself and your cats in order to get to sleep at night, whatever you theorize over a box of wine in the evening, you do you, sweetheart. I just don't think that your research, your study, has all that much evidence behind it. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.